dances above the death cries of 300 men.
Spartans, the finest soldiers in the world, which he has ever known.
In the late summer of 480 BCE, the fate of Greece hung in the balance. A vast Persian army, led by King Xerxes, swept across the land, determined to crush the independent city-states and bring them under Persian rule. Against this overwhelming force, a small alliance of Greek warriors stood ready to defend their homeland. At their head was King Leonidas of Sparta. The chosen battlefield was Thermopylae, the Hot Gates. It was a narrow pass between steep mountains and the sea, a natural choke point where Persia's numbers would be less effective. Here, strategy and courage could stand against sheer size. Xerxes' army was immense, numbering, according to ancient sources, in the hundreds of thousands. Against them, Leonidas commanded only about 7,000 men. Among them were his fabled 300 Spartans, elite warriors raised from childhood to fight, to endure, and to die in service of their city. Other Greek allies included Thespians, Thebans, and troops from various polis, united under the desperate banner of freedom. As the Persians advanced, Xerxes expected the Greeks to flee. Instead, they stood firm. For 2 days, waves of Persian soldiers attacked the defenders, but the narrow pass negated their advantage. The Spartans fought in disciplined ranks, their bronze shields locked together, their spears thrusting in relentless unison. Behind them, their allies held the line with equal resolve. Herodotus tells us that the Persians fell in heaps, trampled by their comrades as each assault broke against the immovable wall of Greek determination. Frustrated, Xerxes sent his immortals, his elite guard, to crush the resistance. But even they could not break through. The Greeks fought with precision, striking at weaknesses, retreating in feigned disorder, only to wheel and counterattack with deadly accuracy. Yet fate and betrayal turned the tide. A local Greek named Ephialtes revealed to Xerxes a hidden mountain path that bypassed the pass. Under cover of night, the Persians marched around, preparing to encircle the defenders. At dawn, Leonidas learned of their peril. Knowing the end was near, he dismissed most of the Greek allies, preserving their lives for future battles. But he and his 300 Spartans, along with a few hundred Thespians and Thebans who chose to remain, resolved to fight to the last. The final day was one of legend. Surrounded, the Greeks fought with undaunted ferocity. Their spears shattered, their swords dulled. They fought with hands, with daggers, even with teeth. Leonidas himself fell, but his men battled on, forming around his body to defend it. At last, overwhelmed by arrows and sheer numbers, the last of the Spartans were slain. The pass was lost, but the sacrifice was not in vain. The valiant stand at Thermopylae bought precious time for the rest of Greece to prepare. Soon after, at Salamis and later Plataea, the Persian army would be driven back, defeated by the very people they sought to conquer. Thermopylae became more than a battle. It was a symbol of resistance, of courage against impossible odds, of freedom won not by numbers, but by unyielding spirit. The 300 Spartans and their allies became immortal in memory, their stand echoing across centuries as one of history's greatest last defenses.